All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a look at what might be one of the most radical socioeconomic plans ever put on paper. And no, this isn't from some modern economist. It's an ancient blueprint for society found right in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25. It's this incredible design built around rest, release, and God's justice. It's truly something else. And this one verse right here, this is the absolute key to unlocking the entire chapter. The whole system hinges on this one foundational truth. God owns the land. It's his. The people of Israel, they were just stewards, tenants, you could say. And when you start from that point of view, it changes absolutely everything about how you see property, economics, and even your own place in the world. So, if God's the owner, how does that actually play out? Well, the very first layer of this blueprint is this mandated rhythm of rest. And it's not just for people, it's for the land itself. God's instructions were, both deeply spiritual and just incredibly practical. He said, you work the land for 6 years, you sow your fields, prune your vineyards, you gather the harvest. But then, and here's the radical part, that 7th year, everything stops. No sowing, no pruning, the land gets to rest. It was a nationwide agricultural Sabbath. But, you see, this was so much more than just a good farming technique. It was a profound lesson in trust. I mean, can you imagine the kind of faith it would take to just not plant for an entire year? This law was designed to teach the people to rely on God to provide for them. And it had this beautiful social aspect, too. Anything that grew on its own that year was for the poor, for the traveler, even for the wild animals. It was a system of care and trust, all built right in. But wait, it gets even bigger. That 7-year cycle was really just the building block for something far grander. An event that would literally reset the entire nation. It was called the Great Jubilee. So God told the people to count 7 of these sabbatical cycles, not just living in one 7-year cycle, but counting 7 of them, one after another. And, the math is pretty simple. 7 cycles of 7 years, that brings you to a total of 49 years. This 49th year would be the 7th Sabbatical Year of rest, but it was also the year just before something truly monumental. Because then came the 50th year. This year was to be set apart as holy, the Year of Jubilee. A trumpet would blast throughout the land, proclaiming liberty to everyone. It was this incredible, nationwide celebration of freedom and restoration. This timeline really shows the beautiful rhythm God set up. You can see this repeating pattern of sabbatical years, all of it building up to this huge climax in year 50. And get this, the 49th year was a sabbatical rest year, and the 50th Jubilee year was also a rest year. That's 2 years back-to-back of not planting. Talk about an exercise in trusting God to provide. So what actually happened in this amazing 50th year? Well, it all boiled down to these 3 profound actions. You can think of it like God hitting a divine reset button on the whole nation. First, return. Every piece of land went back to the original family it was allotted to. Second, release. All debts were just gone, wiped clean. And third, redemption. Every Israelite who had become a servant was set free. It was a radical, society-wide fresh start. But the idea of Jubilee wasn't meant to be just some big event that happened once in a lifetime. God actually wove its principles right into the fabric of their daily life and their laws. God's law had some amazing nuances, especially when it came to property. Just look at this difference. A house inside a walled city, which was seen more as a commercial asset, you had 1 year to buy it back. After that, the sale was permanent. But a house out in a village? That was considered part of the family's farmland, part of their inheritance from God. So it could be bought back anytime, and it would always return to the family at Jubilee. The law was designed to protect the essential family inheritance. And this same protective principle applied to people. You see a really critical distinction here. If an Israelite fell on hard times and had to sell themselves into service, they were to be treated like a hired worker, not like a slave. And they were always set free at the Jubilee. Why? Because, as we're about to see, the Israelites ultimately belonged to God. The rules for foreign servants who didn't have an inheritance in the land were different. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. Why? What was the point of this incredibly detailed, intricate system? What was God trying to achieve by setting things up this way? The divine logic here is just
breathtaking. The Jubilee was essentially a God-designed social safety net. It prevented the kind of generational poverty that creates a permanent underclass. It made sure that one family's bad luck or bad decisions could never permanently strip them of their God-given inheritance. And maybe most importantly, it was this constant, living reminder that they themselves were a people redeemed from slavery in Egypt. It was a picture of God's own character of justice, mercy, and release.
And this, right here, this is the heart of it all. This final verse in the chapter ties everything together beautifully. The Israelites couldn't be permanent servants to one another because they were already servants of God. He was the one who redeemed them from Egypt, so they belonged to him. Their freedom, their land, it was all a gift from their true master.
So, we end with this question. This ancient blueprint, all of it centered on God's ownership and his grace, it just offers such a profound vision for what a society could be. And it really makes you wonder, what would our world, our communities, our economies, even our own lives look like if we practiced a jubilee of rest, release, and redemption? It's a powerful thought to leave with.